far do you need them over?
Well, I'm going to get out of the way of this. So, before I tell my story, or our story, because we've got a few people here that represent what we're about, I'd like you to watch this. This is a video from an organisation that I'm an ambassador for called Solving Kids Cancer. They help my cousin Ollie, which I'll go into. It's around 6 minutes, and it is very engaging and informative, and I learnt a lot when I watched it 2 days ago. So please watch this, and I'll be back on.
Bo is 6 years old.
Odie is just over 3 years old.
Teddy is 5.5. She's got a wicked sense of humour. She's a lovely little girl.
Jossie was the most remarkable little girl.
She really led the way for us, didn't she? In terms of a spirit and a happiness and a just kind of a strength through the whole process. It was just incredible, and we were so very proud of her, weren't we?
Absolutely.
Teddy was diagnosed at 16 months.
I don't think there is anything much more devastating than a child being diagnosed with cancer. The word cancer was enough, it didn't matter which one it was at that point. It was just like this horrific moment.
We were confused. We didn't know what the right approach to take was.
She was diagnosed with high-risk neuroblastoma upon arrival at Great Ormond Street, which is where we began the most difficult journey we've ever gone on as a family.
Neuroblastoma is a rare and aggressive childhood cancer. It tends to affect children under the age of 5. It develops through immature nerve cell development.
It's really difficult for the family because it has such a huge impact on the child, and parents witness that.
Solving Kids Cancer's vision is that no child should die of neuroblastoma or suffer due to its treatment. And really, that's what everybody in the charity is working towards.
We are a very unique and different charity from other childhood cancer charities because of our approach, which is parent-led and parent-informed.
We have parents on the board of trustees, we have parents in the staff team. We are doing it with an intrinsic knowledge of what it is to be a parent of a child with neuroblastoma.
We deliver our work through our 3 key pillars. So we fund and facilitate clinical research, we support families from the moment their child's diagnosed, and we raise wider awareness of the disease.
The Family Support Service was born out of families like myself years ago who were having to research perhaps on their own and find out information, and we want to make sure that for any family who needs any information that it's factual and that families feel empowered.
We reached out to SKC. The family support team contacted us back on the same day. Within the next couple of days had taken a lot of time to speak to us to explain more about the diagnosis, more about the treatment options, which was just incredibly supportive and helpful.
You know, some families just need a listening ear, but we can also be there for more complex needs, whether that's financial worries, whether it's practical support, or indeed whether it is emotional support.
You've almost got this impartial group, and I mean, I say group, they're like a family that offer support, they offer advice, and it's all based on fact.
There's no doubt that SKC, made our experience, which was a very difficult experience, so much more bearable, and it left us in a place where we felt like we'd done everything we possibly could.
Felt really relieved that somebody was there that kind of knew what we were going through and could help us.
SKC is deeply embedded in the research community. We built up many trusting partnerships, and we were working together to find the best solutions for the problems that children face.
From very early on in my career in paediatric oncology, it was clear to me that we needed better treatments for children with neuroblastoma, and despite really intensive treatments over very long periods of time, the prognosis is not nearly as good as we'd like.
Bo's had 18 months of frontline treatment. The last 5 to 6 months of that was immunotherapy. Within Bo's lifetime, that would not have been available as part of frontline NHS treatment. And that's because of the work that's been done with research into immunotherapies, especially with its relation to neuroblastoma.
So now approximately half of children diagnosed with the high-risk form of the disease survive their disease. Unfortunately, the intensity of the treatment these children receive means that most of them will go on to develop lifelong health problems as a result of the treatment and/or the disease. So really, research going forward is about improving survival still further, whilst actually trying to find better therapies that will not leave these children disadvantaged in terms of their health.
It actually did disappear from the liver. She doesn't have it on the liver anymore, and she's a very happy child.
SKC really made you feel incredibly important and not just one of hundreds of other children that were going through it as well. They became part of our family, they really did, and continue to be.
I remember when Teddy was first diagnosed feeling totally hopeless, but Solving Kids Cancer are an amazing resource who can put you in touch with other families to support you. The connections are just invaluable and can help you get through the journey.
My hope for the charity and for all children experiencing this disease is that through the work and dedication of our team, we will see a future where no child dies from neuroblastoma.
Thank you. I appreciate you sticking with that. Last time I was up here I cried, so I'll try not to do that this time. It will help if there's no sad music. So, Solving Kids Cancer has a special place in my heart because my then 2-year-old cousin Ollie was diagnosed with high-risk stage 4 neuroblastoma. I'll probably cry again. When he was 4, sadly he passed away. But in his memory, we're and hopefully we're doing some great things. So we started when he was with us a football club called Ollie United, which I'm proudly wearing here, and so is Paul down there. He'll be up on stage shortly talking about his experience with the club. And we've just done so many fundraisers and numerous things in the community to try and raise awareness for neuroblastoma, because as the video says, it's not very well known. Treatment isn't available in the NHS, and it's difficult, very difficult for children fighting cancer. So that's why we do what we do. So Ollie United is a football club. We play every Sunday. First time this season in Sunday League. We play from Crawley Green Sport and Social Club, and they don't charge us a thing when we're at home. So whatever we make when we play in a match, it goes towards a charity. So all our subs go towards Solving Kids Cancer. I'm an ambassador for Solving Kids Cancer, like I said, and I'm so proud to live, with Ollie, keep Ollie in my heart. But yeah, I never know what to say when I'm up here, but if you can, if you're on social media, anything like that, Solving Kids Cancer, if you can give them a share, anything you can do to raise awareness of that charity, it would mean a lot to me. But what I'm going to do now, I'm not going to...
I've got a question.
Oh, of course, questions, please, yes.
Why is it not available on the NHS?
Because it costs too much. I genuinely don't know the answer to that, but Ollie, when he was with us, I think we raised over 400,000 for his treatment, and that wasn't enough. So make that what you will. It's the NHS. I'm not saying the NHS aren't great, because my other half works for the NHS, they're brilliant. But sadly, it's not enough to fund treatment for children like Ollie. And do you know what is brilliant about this charity? The amount of people I've met through it is absolutely unreal. Like, so many families that are so positive. And you think, if that was me, and I don't have children yet, but if that was me with a child, it'd be the end of the world. But their positivity and their mindset is absolutely brilliant, and I commend them for it. It's brilliant. So I would like to bring up Paul. So this is, we'll have a question. We'll do questions first, then I'll bring up Paul. Sorry, Paul.
It's just because I know he needs to say a bit more. So how much have you raised?
So I haven't raised, collectively, as a group, I've raised probably close to £10,000 for the charity. I ran the London Marathon, I don't know how, thank you. I don't know how I did it, but I ran /waddled /walked /crawled the London Marathon last October. And that was a brilliant experience, one of the best of my life. So yeah, quite a lot of money, and I don't do it for this, but I am proud. I've just been nominated for an award from Solving Kids Cancer, the Hero Award. I don't know if I'll win. If I do, great. If I don't, I'm still raising awareness for a fantastic cause, so I'm happy. So yeah. Thank you. Does anyone else have any questions at all? No, so before, I know I've only got 15 minutes, so we will have to make this brief. But perfect, I know these boys want to get to the pub, so. So, this gentleman at the front here, his name's Paul. He's been with us how long, Paul?
A year last year, October.
A year last October. Now, Paul has autism, and he's an absolutely brilliant lad, and he raises awareness for the club for everything he does. Social media, telling his friends, and he'll chew your ear off, so don't get him on here for too long, all right? So this is Paul, and he's going to tell his story about Ollie United and why he plays for us.
Hi, my name is Paul Edwards. I'm 33 years old, and I've been diagnosed of autism and Asperger's since I got diagnosed at the age of 4. And since I've been playing football with Ollie United last year October, I've been looking for a 11-a-side football team. Since I joined Ollie United, I play striker up front, and a bunch of times I've been having every single game with the charity side, and I scored 3 penalties this year for the Ollie United football team. And as you see on the picture, that's me. Since we've been raising money for the severe kids cancer, I'm quite grateful for me joining a 11-a-side team. Made a bunch of friends through the charity side and the Sunday team side. I'm quite grateful. I've got some really good friends, really good players. They enjoy playing football and raising causes for the severe kids cancer. And in the near future, if I will do better for the team, and I will raise money for the charity team and keep my support for the Sunday team. And we hope we can win every single game we can, but sometimes we can't. And I'm just since I've been playing for Ollie United, it's a great cause, raising money for the kids' cancer. I'm quite grateful for me, part of the family of the Ollie United football team, and I hope we will do better in the near future. Thank you.
That's a question for you.
After you go to the pub, where are you going?
I ended up staying in the pub or watching the Luton Town game, and I hope we can beat Crystal Palace.
Do you like Luton Town?
I've been a supporter for Luton Town football team for about a year, but there's a different football team I support for almost 3 generations.
Oh, okay.
And they already been playing now. It's Liverpool. It's only because I've been carrying the Liverpool legacy from my nan to my dad to me. That's why I've been a true believer of Liverpool for 3 generations.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah, thank you for the warm welcome, guys, and thank you, Mum, for the kind words. So, it's definitely something I want to do, public speak. Probably the first time I've ever done it. Yeah. As as I always like to say, you know, I kind of practice what I preach. It's about putting yourself, when you've got a goal of where you want to be, you have to put yourself in an uncomfortable situation and then get used to that uncomfort to become comfortable. So, yeah, hopefully I can say something today that's going to inspire you, help you reach out to a coach or mentor with anything you might be struggling with, any goals that you've got. So it should be an all-round positive experience. So I'm just going to go into my background, why I created Step Up Coaching, and what you can literally do as action steps after this talk to improve your mental well-being. So background, so I'm a Luton boy, born and bred. We got Luton. Still obviously here now. Two-parent household, which is great. Parents still together, been married for 30 years.
Woo!
Yeah, that's definitely a big woo in this generation.
32.
32 years, wow. There you go. So great upbringing. As I said earlier, I was the only child. They only decided to have the one, so they want to give me the best life possible. Put me through to private school, which was hard, you know. A lot of the kids there were super smart. As I said earlier, I kind of had to work for that because I wasn't naturally as gifted in those areas, but still made it through. Went to university, had a great friendship group, really became the man who I was, and then, you know, travelled abroad with my best friends, just absolutely lived this amazing life that I kind of always wanted, grew into the man that I wanted to be. But I realised that even through, you know, going to Thailand with your best mates, you know, Muay Thai fighting, speaking to girls in the evening, I still found that, you know, there were issues that I hadn't dealt with that were still affecting me. So you can distract yourself as long as you want. If you still have just suppressed those issues and you haven't dealt with them, they're always going to be there. So I realised this wasn't just an issue for me, this was an issue for all men. A lot of my friends are similar to me, you know, big personalities, very confident guys. But when you break it down, everybody's got issues that they're dealing with and nobody wants to open up about it. So I thought, okay, so this is something that pretty much all men are struggling with. Why do men not open up? So I did my own research, spoke to the boys, and realised it's a variety of reasons, and it's really complex, but it could be their childhood experiences, it could be what they've seen in their parents' generation, their grandparents' generation, what they see in movies that depicts, you know, the very masculine male, the very feminine female, the prehistoric ages, you know, you obviously got men out there providing, protecting for the family, hunting, and women taking advantage of their nurturing strengths and looking after the family. And then also, upon further research, I noticed in schools, we treat boys differently to girls. For example, if a boy and a girl did the same wrong thing, let's say they're cheating on their exam, a young boy would actually get twice as much of a punishment as a girl. And a young black boy would get 5 times the amount of punishment. So again, this is really hardwired kind of into our DNA and our society, the way that we treat men and women and why men really do struggle to open up. And again, that's going to really affect us and potentially make us become a more lonely society more than ever. And I want to do something to change that. On top of that, the suicide rate, you know. Suicide is the biggest killer of men under 45, and it's something that is at its worst at this moment in time ever. Although we're not at any threat of a war, realistically, at this moment in time. We're a more inclusive country more than ever, so why are we dealing with all of these issues now? And I think, you know, at first glance you think the high suicide rate must simply be, you know, unfortunately they've had a tough upbringing, it must be something to do with that, but it's not at all. It's actually societal pressure and lack of communication. And that makes a lot of sense because in this generation, a lot of men, you know, are withdrawing from relationships. A lot of men feel uncomfortable voicing their opinion. So it makes sense. Those roles that we kind of had beforehand, where maybe women would, you know, stay at home with the family, men would go out and work, now it's a lot more evenly balanced. So it makes sense why there's so much societal pressure. And I, again, want to be part of that movement to make men feel more comfortable opening up. So I've got a psychology background, that's what I did at uni. I went into sales jobs, I worked full time as my mum said, but my job started to slow down and I thought I really want to do something where I can use those psychological skills, use my strengths in working with people and do some good in the world. So I did a coaching diploma, I didn't want to just go into it without that, I thought it was important to become certified, and I created Step Up Coaching, which is all about creating a safe space for men to open up, overcome their limitations and become the best versions of themselves. And everything that I promote on my social media about Step Up Coaching, I exude myself. My mum said, you know, I'm big into my fitness. I know how important that is, not just for the way that you look, but more importantly than that, your mental as well. So that's something that I make sure that I do 5 times a week. Meaningful relationships. By 2045, they've already predicted that 40 to 45% of women between 20 to 45 will be single or childless. And that's because we're becoming a more lonely society. As I said, 50% of men don't want a relationship anymore. We're withdrawing from that. I've always been big on making time for my friends or time for my partner. My partners when I've had them. Career, again, always something that I've worked really, really hard at because I've got a goal that I want to get to. And that's something, again, where a lot of men, we're declining. We're coming away from our careers, we're coming away from university. And as men, we need to do more. We really do need to self-improve. In my opinion, it might sound a little bit harsh, we need to pull our finger out and do a lot more if we want the life that we desire. We can't just sit around, complain and moan about it. We've got to do more. So that's everything that I promote through Step Up Coaching. So what I want to leave you guys with today is do some self-care. I'm not saying the first step is going out to go find a coach or whatnot, somebody you can speak to. Do some self-care. Write down on a piece of paper where you want to be in the next 5 years, where you want to be in the next 10 years. And if you can be genuinely honest with yourself, if you're not making any steps towards that, then it is time that you reach out to somebody. That can be a friend, a partner, a family member, but a lot of the times they're just simply not skilled enough to listen to you. And it's not their fault, it doesn't mean that they're bad people, they've got their own busy lives, they've got their own stresses, and a lot of the time you might feel uncomfortable, you don't want to put a burden on them, you don't want to appear weak, soft, vulnerable. A lot of the time if you do try to open up, they're not really listening to you, they're listening to how they can relate, not to actually understand you and ask you questions about how you're feeling. The next step is to reach out to a professional that can help you. Someone that's going to listen to you, ask you questions about what you're going through. And that is so, so important. You know, we can work on our fitness all the time, the way we look physically, but what about our mental? That's just as important. It's something that we negate a lot of the time because it's not something that we can visually see. So, in particularly for the men in this room, it doesn't make you weak to reach out to somebody for support. It actually makes you stronger. Every great successful person has had a manager or a coach in their ear to help them get to that next place. You need that. You need another opinion. You need someone to help you see from different perspectives. You need people to keep you accountable, and that's what you get from professional support. It's me.
Where's he going? Nathan? I wasn't aware that this was your first time. How did he do, guys? With that big little applause, I said, how did he do, guys? Come on, it's not easy. Came across really well. What I was going to say, we have got a panel a little bit later on, and Nathan's going to be on the panel, but I will take 2 questions. I don't know your name, but yes. Yes.
Oh, sorry, I have to.
Auntie.
Thanks, guys. I am Nathan's aunt. Nathan, would you say, I hear you and I understand what you're saying, but how much of the way men are thinking nowadays that social media has to do with it? because a lot of people get their information not from their mum, their dad, their aunt, their grandparents. A lot of youngsters nowadays do get their information from social media, and some of that is not very good, but they think that is the way they need to behave, to be themselves, to create a persona of the person that they're seeing on television, or listening to LBC or whatever it might be, or reading a Voice newspaper or something like that. Do you not also think social media has a lot to do with the way men feel about themselves?
I definitely do. I think there's 2 points on that. I think the problem with social media, your phone basically picks up the algorithms, so it's going to force things into your mind and head and what you see from what you already believe. So if you're a racist person, for example, you're going to just see those constant images of people that back up your point of view. So it is very damaging in that sense. And another point as well, it makes you depressed because you're constantly seeing, and I can even relate to this myself, not that I'm depressed, but I've definitely looked at social media, and this sounds so silly. I've seen people in better shape than me, like, bloody hell, I'm going to the gym, what am I doing? And you know, it's just a caption, it's a moment of their life. It's not always reality, it's got a great angle. Social media shows people basically living their best life 24/7, but in reality it's not always like that. Social media can easily make anybody depressed very, very quickly, and it's very, very important to just understand that that is not reality, it's just a moment of their life.
And that's the point I'm making. People watch these programs on TV, they think it's actually real. Why would you, say for instance, I know of the program, I've never ever watched it because I'm 57 and I've got my head screwed on. Why would anybody want to watch the Kardashians, especially young women, and then want to do certain things to themselves, to be like a Kardashian? That is not real, that life is not real. It's real with 24/7 because you're watching it, but in real life, they don't realise behind all of that, they've had makeup done, they've had this done, they've had that squeezed on, they've had that put into them, and all this. That is not real. And that is some of the biggest problems we have nowadays. Youngsters watch too much TV and they believe in social media too much.
Yeah, I think realistically, I think just a lot of people, I know people don't want to admit it, a lot of people are insecure, and a lot of people have a serious need to not only be liked but be right. So a lot of people are always trying to chase validation. You can see the most beautiful girl and she'll go and, you know, have loads of fake surgery done because it's what Kim Kardashian's doing, and not understanding any of the negative effects. But they don't look at that because people want the shortcut, they want the quick results, they want to look like that person straight away. They don't want to put the hard work in, and they want to be validated straight away as well. So I feel like people really need to get a really strong sense of self, but that's something that we're losing in this generation.
I'm sure we're going to talk about that a little bit later on. Thank you for those questions, Arnie. Thank you, Nathan.